Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a full face of Colourpop, and I am so excited to do this video because I have been wanting to do this for a very long time. I just haven't had all of the products to do a full face. So now that I have everything that I need to create this full face using all of Colourpop products, we're going to be doing that in today's video. So I have a mixture of new products, and I also have a couple of products that were actually my very first purchases from Colourpop. So I cannot wait to show you guys how I created this look. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I did all of this using all of Colourpop products, then let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so usually I start out with my brows first. So we're gonna take the Colourpop brow pencil. This is in the shade Black Brown. One thing I don't like about their brow pencils is if you twist it up too far, you can't twist it down. So you have to be careful with that and just, you know, twist up a little bit of that product. So I'm just gonna quickly fill in my brows. After I fill in my brows, I usually like to go in and clean them up with a little bit of concealer. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of my Colourpop concealer. This is in the shade Rich Tan, and just kind of clean them up a little bit. Okay, so the brows are done for now. I just went ahead and put on a little bit of concealer under them and above them, so that way they can, you know, pop a little bit more. Now we're just gonna go ahead and jump into the foundation. I don't have a primer from Colourpop, and I believe they do have primers. I think they're the spray primers, but I don't have any of those. So I just went ahead and prepped my face before applying anything on the face. I just used the Kevyn Aucoin, the skin, it's called the Sensual Skin Primer. It was the closest thing next to me, so I just went ahead and slapped that on my face. Now let's go ahead and do the foundation. I'm gonna use the shade Dark 185. And I did a full review on this foundation, so if you guys haven't seen that video, I'll have it down below in my description. Okay, so as most of you know, Colourpop did come out with more shades in the concealers, but I never found the time to actually purchase my perfect shade. So I'm just gonna use two shades for today's video. I have the shade Rich Tan and Deep Tan. So Deep Tan is a little too light, and then Rich Tan is a little too dark. And I just feel like both of these mixed together, they work well for my skin tone. So that is what we're going to do. So for my setting powder, I'm using the translucent setting powder. I used a banana one in my review, but I want to try this one out. I haven't used it yet, so I'm just now opening it. Okay, now that I'm looking at my face, it looks a little pink. These are not going well with this foundation. Like, it looks a little pink. So the translucent powder is pretty light, so I'm just gonna put a little bit on the face. I'm gonna go in with the No Filter Pressed powder in the shade Dark and just put this all over the face just to even out everything and make it look more smooth. Even though it does look pretty smooth, I just don't want my face to look too ashy. So I'm just gonna go over everything with this. I'm just gonna go back into the brows and just kind of fade the inner part so it won't look crazy. So my favorite part of makeup application is putting on bronzer, and I did not know that Colourpop had a bronzer that was deep enough for deeper skin tones. I was actually looking at Too Much Mouth when she did her review on the Colourpop foundation, and she used this bronzer in it. So I went ahead and purchased it for myself. I got the shade, it doesn't say it on the back of the packaging, but you do have to put the bronzer inside this plastic case, but I think it's called Bits and Pieces. I'll have all of the shades down below in my description, but I think it's called Bits and Pieces. And just looking at it, I know that this is going to be a good shade for deeper skin tones. So this I have not tried yet, but let's go ahead and see how it looks on my skin. Have some, yes, oh yes. So you can definitely see it. It definitely shows. I'm gonna take a bigger brush. This is a powder brush and I got this from my brush set. I do have a link of where you can purchase my brush set down below in my description if you guys are interested. And the brush that I just used was my angled contour brush. So I'm just gonna take a larger brush just to bronze up the entire face. This is gonna help take away that pinkness from my face. And I like to take the side of my angled contour brush and just go down the sides of my nose. All right, so this is what my face is looking like so far. So that pinkness was kind of canceled out with the bronzer. It kind of put more warmth to my skin. But I think I just want to go ahead and jump to the eyes. I'm going to use a Perception palette. This is in collaboration with Makeupshayla. And since I've already done a review on this palette, I did state in that review that I wanted to do another look using it. And you guys were requesting me to do another look with this palette. So I figured this video would be perfect to use this palette in. And also, what was I about to say? And then later on, we're gonna finish up the face with some blush, some highlight, and then the lips. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go for something easy, something that you guys can definitely wear on an everyday basis. The first look that I did with this palette, it was something very bold and dark, and I will have the video link down below if you guys haven't seen that video. But this time I want to go for something very easy, very simple, but at the same time a little edgy. So I'll start out with Revenge for the crease color and put a little bit of this in the crease. And when I'm starting out with one shade in the crease, I like to focus it more in the crease first and then lightly drag it up towards my brow bone so that way it can look faded. And I think I've went over this numerous times in a couple of videos, but for those, you know, that are just coming to my channel and just seeing one of my tutorials, that is what I like to do, just to kind of get that light, soft fade. Now I'm gonna dip into Played Out. This is a dark brown and just focus this on the outside of the lid. So right in this area. This brush that I'm using is a random brush from a palette that I got from Lorac. It was the Beauty and the Beast palette. I think I've said that several times in tutorials as well, but again, for those of you, if this is your first video that you're watching of me, I just wanted to, you know, let you know. Now flipping over to that first brush that we used, just kind of blend those two shades together and going over it again with that dark shade. And then flipping the brush over again and blending both of those shades together. Now I'm gonna pick up my pencil shader brush from my brush set and I'm gonna go into this very last shade on the row. It's called Shade. So this is a really dark burgundy, but it has a little bitty tiny rose gold glitter in it, but you can't really see it when you apply it on the eyes. So I'm just gonna put it right here where the first and second shade meet and blend that in right there. Now I'm gonna pick up that first brush that we used and go into that brush that I used for the darker shade and just flip it over to the side where there's no product and then go into Culture. This is a light tan. I'm just gonna place this right here on the lid where we have not put any shadow. So this is gonna be the lightest part on the lid. And then taking the side where we blended everything together, I'm gonna go in and kind of blend that light shade into the dark. So this is all that I'm gonna do for the eyes. Now it's time to apply some lashes, some mascara. For my bottom lash line, I'm just gonna smoke it out with Played Out. This is that dark chocolate, and I'm also gonna kind of mix it in with Revenge. So these are the first two shades that we started out with. I'm just gonna mix both of these together and blend it on the bottom lash line, just kind of smoke it out. and then we will come back and do the blush, the highlight, and the lips. So I'll be right back. All right, now I want to highlight the inner corner of my eyes, and I'm going to take the highlighter in the shade Wisp. This was the very first highlighter from Colourpop that I purchased, and you guys see that I have used the mess out of this. I have hit pan. I think this is probably one of my favorite highlighters from Colourpop, but I just want to put this on the inner corner of the tear ducts, and then we're going to go in with a highlighter palette for my highlight later on. Now, one thing about the Colourpop highlighters is you don't have to spray your brush because they're already really soft and they feel creamy, but they go on kind of like a powder, but they feel very creamy, they're very soft, and you don't have to wet your brush. All right, so for the blush, I'm using the very first blush that I purchased from Colourpop. This is in the shade Cheerio. This is a really pretty mauve-y shade, and if you look at it really close, it's not as pigmented as it was because it's kind of old, but if you look at it really closely, you can see, it's kind of old, but it does have a gold sheen to it if you look at it really, really closely, which is really pretty. So I'm just gonna take my angled contour brush to apply this with. It's kind of hard to apply these with a brush, so I like to take a brush that's a little more dense, and I used to use like a stippling brush to apply my blushes from Colourpop, but this one works just as good. And for highlighter, we're gonna take the Gimme More Pressed Highlighter Palette. I have not used this palette in a very, very long time, so I'm gonna take the darkest shade in here, which is this one right here, and place this for my highlight. Ooh, I forgot how good these highlighters are. Look at that. And I'm actually gonna go over that highlighter with this orange right here, because when I put this on, it looks gold, but I think this is a little too light, so I'm just gonna try to go over it with this. I should have used that color first, but it's okay. For the lips, I'm taking the Colourpop lipstick in the shade Pinkies Up. This is the lipstick that I have been wearing a lot recently in my videos, and you guys were asking me what was on my lips, and it was this. I just used different lip liners with it, but today I'm going to use the Colourpop lip liner in the shade K and just line my lips with this. All right, you guys, so this is my full face of Colourpop. I was really questioning it once I started seeing that my face was looking a little pink, but now that everything has come together, I do like how this look came out. But anyway, I had a lot of fun filming this video. I'm glad that I whipped out 3 products from Colourpop that I have not used in a very long time, and that was the blush, the highlighter, and also the highlighter palette. Other products I have been using recently, this bronzer was actually the first product that I haven't used ever in this video, so I do like how it warmed up the face. I like the fact that it works on my skin tone. I think this is the darkest shade that they have, but I do like how it shows up on my skin, and it definitely does a great job with warming up the skin too. But yes, that is all that I have for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys tried out any of these products that I used in today's video, let me know your thoughts. And also, I want to know you guys' favorite products from Colourpop, so let's leave them down below in the comments. You guys know I love to interact with you guys down there. And yes, I think that is everything I have. Make sure you thumbs this video up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed already. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.